Waiting on sweats. We'll get started here in a moment. Waiting on sweats. I keep hitting accept. Hold on, let me get him in here.
Yo,
Okay.
can you? How am I coming in? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Awesome. All
I
right,
like
cool.
that. That's
Yeah,
nice.
thanks, man. Yeah,
How do we switch this? I want to be on bottom. I don't want to be on
what
top.
what what are we calling? I because before when I was setting this up, I was thinking, what we call this series of podcasts, impromptu cast,
No, let's call it check-in.
a check-in,
Yeah, just a regular check-in.
a check-in.
Ca-
You don't think it
Catch-up
could be
cast.
a
Catch-up
you know?
cast.
Oh yeah, catch up cast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we were talking about this earlier this week. We wanted to do a more of an impromptu one. We've done this before, um, where it was catch up because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts in this world right now, um,
Trying
and
to get the right angle here.
man, I'm gonna have to give you a tripod. I'm gonna have to give you a tripod for your birthday or something.
Well, okay, so the next year,
Oh, it already
yeah,
passed.
my birthday passed. I think my birthday is like
I
10
think.
or 11 days before yours.
Oh shit.
No,
Did I tell you happy
you're
birthday?
before me. You're like February 5th, right?
No, February 27th.
Yeah, okay, so you're 9 days before me.
Oh shit. Did I tell you happy birthday?
No, I don't think I told you happy birthday, so we'll call it a wash.
Okay. For next time.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I'll have to get you a tripod for we'll have to do it sooner than your birthday. You need to be legit. You need to be professional.
Hmm.
Um but anyway, so because we usually only go live once a month, and so we get on these IG lives as kind of a way to catch up because the world moves fast and a lot happens, and sometimes whenever we get to it on the podcast, the actual podcast, we're kind of like we could be late,
Yeah. Nobody
like
cares.
yeah, honestly, sometimes that's how it is sometimes. But, we still want to get our 2 cents in, even though it's a little late. But sometimes getting on here and kind of doing a catch up cast, I think is pretty interesting. So one of the big things that's been going on right now that everybody seems to be talking about, it's a couple things, but one of them is the P-Diddy controversy. P-Diddy is been under a lot of scrutiny, allegations, a lot of legal battles and issues and stuff like that. It's not looking good for P-Diddy, okay? I think his career, it's safe to say that his career is probably over. Um, with in light of a lot of what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, Steve, how would you say what the trouble that P. Diddy's in?
Um,
Like, give a rundown for people who may not know what we're talking
yeah,
about.
I think if I could put it not so eloquently, I think P. Diddy's been letting his dingle dangle dangle in the dirt.
P. Diddy's been diddling.
Yeah, P. Diddley's been diddling, yeah. Um, and he's never gonna see this. He doesn't know who I am, and perhaps that's a good thing given what he's been doing. But in all seriousness, there's really disgusting things going out there in the world, and I think I've seen stuff that connects this to like Jeffrey Epstein and what he's been doing, and it's a sick world out there, man. It's not it's not it's not as like clean as you would
No,
think. The only thing that's clean is the clean nation.
that's right. If I had my little cheer sound effect, I'd be hitting it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, but just to put it out there, I think everyone knows what's going on, but P. Diddy has a lot of lawsuits going on, and a lot of it stems with um, um, things with children and young people, And that's very
It,
serious stuff that
it's kind of yeah, it's kind of a lot. I mean, we'll kind of use safe words, I guess,
yeah,
just for I don't know, but just
sensitivity reasons. I think this is
yeah,
a you need to be sensitive with something
yeah,
like this, of course, because there's clearly victims that
oh
have
yeah,
been that are impacted, and you don't want to trivialize what they're going through, you
yeah.
know.
So it's it's a lot, man. It's blackmail against other artists and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's blackmail for certain spicy acts or whatever.
yeah.
It's I don't, trafficking isn't necessarily. It's kind of a blanket state, maybe. But let's.
Well, I don't know. I think it is applicable because, I just finished that. It's interesting because I saw this. This is everywhere right now. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of people talking about a lot of this stuff. And I saw this YouTuber that um, went to the Jeffrey Epstein island,
yeah,
and then they said, and then I started to get like acclimated to that because I knew who he was. I didn't know what he did, and they gave the backstory of everything. It's like, oh, that's not good at all.
yeah,
And within that, I think there was, um, a lot of people who were impacted, and again, you don't want to trivialize that, but there's a lot of moving pieces in that, and people are saying that all of this is intertwined. And what I'm getting at is when it comes to human trafficking, I think that there's a lot of there's a lot of coercion that goes into it at that level, and obviously that's not acceptable at all.
mm,
You can't kind of like suggest that someone should do something because it may or may not be good for their career. This you would hope that talent wins out, um, not favors of any degree.
yeah. So it's a little bit of that. It's uh, man, it's just a lot. I mean, it's we said blackmail, we said the trafficking thing. Uh, I don't know. Like he's in deep shit, right? And the thing is like I I never really P Diddy was always like a side character, you know. He never really was like I never listened to it. I don't know if he did any solo albums or anything. I think his biggest hit is probably a song he did with Nas, I think.
Yeah. Hate Me
I
Now?
think that's his Hate Me Now, yeah. I never really saw him as a legit rapper. I just sort of thought he was like a hype man, kind of side man, if anything, to like first off with like Notorious B.I.G. and then after that happened, he kind of went on and did his own thing. I never really, when I think of, when I think of Nas, when I think of Tupac, Notorious B.I.G. Like I think those are for their rapping at least with their art and stuff. Yeah, I can commend them and respect them, and they have a lot of catchy songs and stuff. And that went on to like impact culture and stuff like that. But I never really had any sort of favor toward P Diddy. He was always just kind of like a guy off on the side, and just to see how actually he had quite a bit of power and was kind of throughout the years using his influence to like you were saying before, like coerce people to do certain acts and to be blackmailed and stuff like that. So it's really weird to see how like my perception of him is in reality, like how he's like a pretty powerful guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean now it's like, I mean, one has to think like, because these backdoor deals and like the shady stuff that goes on in the music industry and stuff like that, you have to think like a lot of this stuff is orchestrated. Like he did something, or he rubbed elbows of someone the wrong way to where they're playing, okay, we got you now. You thought you were a top dog, you thought you were this powerful. No, like we're
Yeah.
gonna get your ass right
I
now.
want to talk about what led up to this
Yeah.
because it's kind of interesting. One, I mean, I'm looking on Twitter right now and I see a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and you don't know what to believe and what is true and what isn't true, especially when it's on Twitter, right?
Mm,
So like you hear this stuff and you take it with a grain of salt, but one of the things that is like always out there is, and there's two people I want to talk about, or a couple things I want to talk about. I always love the videos that like I'm looking at one right now that says like Lil Wayne been trying to warn us about Diddy, which I just think is funny because it's just like I don't I don't know like it's has this always been in front of our faces, but we didn't piece it together until it became formal. And the other one is everything that Cat Williams said when he was meeting with Shannon Sharp on his Instagram and talking about how like in 2024 so many things are going to happen. And
mm,
then you hear about like the Epstein list, you hear about everything going on with P. Diddy. And I just find that interesting because it's just like what significance does a comedian, and again, very successful comedian, I'm not saying anything about that, but you would imagine that a situation like this would come down from an FBI agent or somebody who, really took this into consideration. And then you look at on the outskirts what someone like Cat Williams is successful. I'm not saying anything negative about him, but like it's just like he's on a podcast kind of predicting this stuff, and it's just like, well, how did you know that? You know what I mean? And like knowing everyone around who's in his circle, you know, just about how they allude to like what Diddy parties are like. It's just
mm.
interesting. It's just very interesting and a circle that I want nothing to do with. Because
Well,
dude, like
yeah.
think about it. If like for me as a regular person, I am okay staying in my lane. You know what I mean? Like I love just be like I gotta go to work, I gotta, be a father, I gotta be a husband, I gotta be these things. You know what I mean? And like when you're in that position, you have so much more to manage, right? You have to manage artists, you have to manage perception, you have to manage politics, you have to manage these things, and it's easier at some point. It's like fuck it, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess like one thing that we didn't mention was that kind of like really sort of kicked it off was when I think a couple days ago, his houses, his mansions got raided by the FBI. And yeah, like Twitter Twitter is a really good source of just like finding like if you want to if there's a story, like you'll see hundreds of videos that like are going in like kind of going into the nitty-gritty sort of thing. That's what kicked this whole thing off. I think it was like on the weekend and stuff.
Yeah,
Um but yeah, and funny enough, one take that I did hear that was very unique was one how on Biggie's last album, Life After Death, um, the anniversary I think of the song Kicking Down the Door was the day that that the feds came after P. Diddy. That was a very interesting one take. Um, and there was also another take that some video that PD did where he kind of he predicted his own demise. Like it was some music video where he's getting on the jet and the feds are coming after him and stuff,
yeah,
and he gets on the plane, he gets out there, which is actually was like how I don't know if he's in custody right now, but I did know like like as very soon after it was first reported that he was his houses were being raided, that his one of his planes was going to some island or whatever that had a some no extradition policy with the U.S. Um, so I mean that was actually pretty interesting of a take too. And then with the whole Cat Williams thing, I think what he said it himself kind of like during the Shannon Sharp interview where um, he was like that he doesn't he like he'll pay for information from people that see these things and kind of even that bear witness to some of these things that go on amongst the industry and the entertainment industry at large, that he'll seek out this information and he'll kind of have it like his ace in the hole,
Yeah.
like so to speak, like to I guess use kind of more or less, kind of like a blackmail, honestly. If you think about it, like, isn't that what blackmail is? Like, hey, I have information on you that, that if this gets put out public, this could ruin your entire reputation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Although, like, he didn't necessarily, it's not like he had any tapes, it's not like he had any sort of thing. He just sort of made a general statement as to, P. Diddy's behind the scenes shenanigans. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting as well. I think he probably knew something, that a little bit more than we would know, obviously, because he's been in the entertainment industry so long, and it's kind of like a melting pot. The music, movies, yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how it unfolds,
I,
and like
I,
it's really more so, not so for P Diddy, but like the other people involved. I think the latest update sort of thing has to do with the owner or the CEO of Universal Music Group, how he may, be involved. He might be coming down with some of the allegations about P. Diddy. A lot of interesting stuff, and good. I hope all these, freaks and weirdos get what they deserve at the end of the day.
I saw one tweet. Damn, Sean Combs, when they start using your government name, you're in some deep shit. Again, we're not laughing at the situation. We're not laughing at anyone. We're laughing at what people are saying about it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
There's been a
very serious situation, very serious
yeah,
circumstances. But for every funny one, he's a leader who should be ashamed of ourselves. Got to stop looking up to these celebrities as more than what they are. You
yeah,
know what I mean? For every funny one that's out there, there is a serious one. Again, people were hurt. People had to do things they didn't want to do, and I don't want to trivialize it that much, but
yeah,
not looking
yeah,
good. Not looking good at
yeah,
all. That's
yeah.
crazy because like when you think about something like that, I think to myself, this is a person who had to be really smart and really broke through and whatnot, and then years, many decades later, you find out, oh, it's not what you thought it was, you know.
Yeah, I mean, from what you said, like you'd have to be like smart and stuff like that. Maybe it's like, I don't know. We used it. I don't know if you remember what the you remember the term psyop that I was explaining a few episodes back or whatever. You never know. Maybe these people are just like these people. Some people, they know that, like, we're talking about, like, you know. I don't know if you could say it's a conspiracy theory or not, but like with these alphabet agencies like the FBI and stuff like that, if they bring these people in,
Alphabet
and
agencies,
yeah, yeah,
everything has alphabet in it.
you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it unfolds. Um, you know. And on the flip side, people are saying that, what's going on with this is kind of like covering up other things that are going on. We have another thing that I didn't bring up for topics that we could do is we have a solar eclipse coming in the next couple of weeks. And I think if you go on our Twitter, there's an interesting video that kind of like talked about how during that week of April that's coming up, it's going to be crazy because not only we're having the solar eclipse, you know, we're right close to Indiana, and like, because I guess like you'll be able to see the solar eclipse at a certain, like, depending on your state. I heard Arkansas is one big one, but I also know Indiana as well is like in certain parts of it you'll be able to see it. So I might actually try to like see if I could see that, depending, the timing's right. Um,
Look. I'm not going to say this as a matter of fact, but I was in eighth grade when it went from 1999 to 2000.
Uh,
And at some point, something bad is going to happen. But the one thing I wanted, because I saw that too, and the one thing I want to tell everyone is it's not going to happen in our lifetime, okay? And I hope that I'm right, but everyone's talking about that so many people are going to be traveling and there's going to be weak cell phone service and something bad's going to happen and start stocking up on food and, perishable goods, non-perishable goods, whichever one doesn't go bad quick. Everyone says that, right? And everyone says, make sure that you have all this food in your house and water and walkie-talkies. What am I going to do with a walkie-talkie? Okay? What am I going to do? Why do I need
Steve, it's
that?
good to prepare. It's good to prepare for when things hit the fan. Listen, okay, listen, Steve. I have how many months? How many months? I think I have like a month. No, I don't know. But listen, I got one of those 3 gallon. I don't know how large they are, but it's like emergency food supply. I got them during Black Friday. I got like 2 jugs of them just in case, because you never know. That listen, this has been a crazy year so far. If anything, I'm being proven right for getting that emergency food. I think you should at least get some spare water bottles, okay, and emergency food just in case. Maybe you won't see nothing crazier in your general area will happen. You'll be at home. You'll be thinking of shower thoughts for the next show. Everything will be fine. But, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Play my little my sound effects. Ooh, right now.
I'll give you that. It is better to have that stuff and not need it. But why do I'm not going to panic. You know what I mean? Like, I have, in my neighborhood, I have six grocery stores near me. Okay? I have a police station 3 blocks away. I have a fire station 6 blocks away. I'm taken care of. Okay? If anything happens, my wife and I divide and conquer. I'll go to Mariano's, you go to Whole Foods. Those two strike out because everyone goes for the bargain buck. You know what I mean? It's on the way. You drop me off at Mariano's, you go to Whole Foods, we're good. I live like 6 blocks from Mariano's. The first scent of something going wrong, I'll panic. You know what I mean? I'll be the first one there. But
uh,
I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not. Nothing bad is going to happen because of a solar eclipse. How many solar eclipses have we seen in the last
I think the
10 years?
last one was 2017, if I remember correctly. But here's another thing that's kind of weird. Man, like the more that you think about it, like we said 2024 is gonna be crazy, and it is weird. Um, Again, if you check the our Twitter account, I sent a message to us that kind of talks about that and how at the same time we're also having cicadas that have been buried underground for 13 to 18 years are all going to start popping up and they're going to be everywhere. And on top of that, uh, NASA is sending rockets up to the solar eclipse Project Serpent something, and then on top of that, there's this. I think it's an atom collider named CERN that they're firing up during the solar eclipse as well. This is crazy. It's hard to follow this
Is
stuff,
it
but it's really
is it
like, yeah, it is.
crazy?
Yeah.
Why is it crazy? Things happen. You know what's happening right now? If I can quote Nas, my man is being murdered while a baby's being born. Right? Like there's a lot of things happening right now. You know what I
I
mean?
think it's just I think the thing is just like the internet is has sped up our lives so much. Like the sense of time and the things happening is like instantaneous. It's like 24 hours news cycle. Yesterday's news, nobody gives a shit about. And what's new today? We want to know what's going on today. And
Yeah.
it's just like
If
it's a lot to keep up with,
if
man. And
if
but
I
you just have
may,
to ask yourself, is it all by coincidence or is there something more that we don't know that's going on? You're either a
on one
glass half
half, when
full,
you
glass half full or glass half
It
empty?
that's situational, okay? So on one half, on the first half with Diddy, there was more going on than we knew, okay? On the second half, on the second topic that we're discussing, things happen. Things like there's math and years and hours and days and everything. It's not a powder. Listen, world, society, it is not a powder keg of negative things that's about to happen, okay? And I hope I'm right. And don't get mad at me. This is not life advice. Take it how you want it, okay? It is not a powder keg of negativity that things are going to happen. You know how many solar eclipses, according to Wikipedia, we've had from 1901 to 2000? Apparently, we don't have that data. We need Mickey. We don't have that data up. It's been 228 solar eclipses, um, 78 partial, 73 annular, and 73 or not, yeah, annular, non-central, whatever, and 71 were and 71 total. I don't know what it means. I don't know what any of this means. But there's been 228. So that's from 1901 to 2000. Now, if we take 2001 until 2024, I mean, what are we talking about? Let's say, I don't know, 15, 17, somewhere around there, mathematically not being, precise.
Mm.
Okay, what's so different about this one? Let's all relax. That's the problem with people now. We don't relax enough.
Well, there was I don't know if it was some, press conference that NATO had or something like that where, and the other thing too is a lot of government agencies, a lot of state-run agencies are saying like, hey, there's going to be a lot of traffic, there's going to be a uptick in car accidents because of all the travel and stuff. Maybe, have a little extra water on the side. Don't go out if you can't, if you don't need to. I mean, maybe that's more just a pragmatic sort of thing. That's just like a natural sort of thing. If there's more cars on the road, there's more of a chance you're going to get hit or have a car accident. Sure, I get that. But is there something more? Is there something more behind it,
I,
Uh,
if I can quote, and I hate that I'm about to quote this person. If I can
is it
quote
P. Diddy?
Fergie,
Don't quote P.
no,
Diddy.
I'm gonna quote Fergie. If you ain't got no money, take your broke ass home,
Wait,
okay? You don't need to see a solar
wait
eclipse.
a
Don't
minute. I
try.
don't know if that applies to the situation.
Honestly, like if I was those state agencies, I would get to the radio station and I'd be like, we need songs that's gonna make people need want to stay home. So play that one, you know? So that way they
Yeah.
subconsciously think, I ain't got no money, I'm gonna stay my broke ass home.
Yeah. The other thing, yeah, I mean, you'll have to watch the video to kind of like under, because I didn't watch it fully all the way through myself, actually. But the whole, NASA sending rockets or spaceships at the eclipse and the atom collider specifically. Mind you, I don't fully understand what an atom collider is. I'm assuming that it just smashes atoms together and stuff like that, and that's a whole bunch of science stuff. Okay, um, why they're specifically choosing April 8th to run that machine. Um, and the cicadas at the same time, you know, it's all very it's all very interesting timing, okay? And the cicadas part specifically, because man, cicadas are some nasty bugs, and I'm not looking forward. I feel like they're out every year, but this year they're gonna be out in droves, so I'm not looking forward to that.
You know what? Cicadas are actually a really good source of protein. So now that we talk about it,
Steve, you do not eat cicadas. I'm calling you
I
out. I'm
don't eat
calling.
cicadas, but look, dude, cicadas are a very good source of protein. So listen,
What?
maybe something bad is going to happen. And again, don't take this as
You
serious advice.
Listen, Mariano's is gonna be shut down. Whole Foods is gonna stop. You're gonna be eating cicadas. You're gonna have to learn to barbecue. Little Lee, you're gonna have to force him to eat cicadas. It's not gonna be pretty. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, cicadas are yeah, look right here. According to Wired, again, I don't know how good this source is. I've heard of Wired before, but Uh, brace yourself, Illinoisians. A truly shocking number of cicadas are about to live, make sweet love, and die in a tree near you. But then they do cite how they're really good protein. So again, I think
We will not eat the bugs. We will not eat the bugs.
it tastes like high-end shrimp. They taste like shrimp, according to this. I'm serious,
Disgusting.
dude. I
Disgusting.
don't
Who's
want to
saying
do
this?
it, but if something happens and there's a cicada and I got the grill on, I mean, hey, what do I gotta do?
Well, listen, shrimp on the outside kind of look a little funky. Maybe it's the sort of thing where you gotta just peel off the skin and the extremities and just get the meat right in the center. I mean, if someone was to skin a cicada and say, hey man, I skinned everything off, you wouldn't even know it's cicada. Try this meat out. Go ahead. I don't know. You'd have to pay me if my life didn't depend on it. I'll say
Well,
that much.
I think if everything goes south on April 8th, um, grab yourself some cicadas. Get some charcoal, grab some cicadas. What's the big deal? You've eaten worse. I
I
promise you.
haven't. I really don't think I have. I mean, maybe the people that, I was watching this video of like I guess I forget what culture, but they like tarantulas. Like they literally just fry tarantulas. And I saw this woman eating a tarantula. Just like that. I think it was I don't think it was Filipino, maybe Cambodian.
Sure.
Cambodian woman just eating a tarantula. It was no, I just wouldn't do it. I'm not gonna eat the bugs, Steve.
I don't I don't think I'd mind. I've eaten strange this is a terrible. I've eaten strange animal meat before.
What what
Don't
are you
clip
talking
that.
about?
I hope no one clips that.
What kind of strange animal? A squirrel?
Yes, I've eaten squirrel.
Oh shit.
Did you ever hear of hot dogs?
No.
Hot dogs. So hot dogs, he was a guy who had a hot dog stand here on the north side, and he would purchase, strange meat, exotic meat, and he'd put it in a hot dog. And I've had rabbit, I've had snake, I've had,
What the
um,
hell?
yeah, dude, like I've eaten it. You know what I mean? And it was good. And this guy made
Well,
a
you ate it
lot of
with a
money.
hot dog bun. You ate it with some ketchup, some relish,
Well, you
some
ate it with the
pickles, maybe.
condiments that he paired it with, of course. But yeah, dude, like I've eaten that, and oh, it
We're
was
talking
good.
about
There was
eating
some.
it straight raw. Like, I mean, yeah, it's cooked and everything, but like no condiments, no nothing.
I think I did order them without some because I'm not a big condiment guy.
No
So
bun.
I would have eaten it no bun. I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference between eating a hot dog with a bun and not and no bun? You know?
I'm gonna go get so whenever we meet up next, I'm gonna get you a fried tarantula and I'm gonna have you eat
I don't know that I would eat that. Not I don't know
it.
that I would eat that. But the thing is, I wouldn't eat it in its. I would eat the meat. I wouldn't eat it in its body form. If you took it out of the body and de-skinned, I mean, have you ever eaten crab?
I don't actually think I've ever had crab meat before.
You've never had
I
crab meat?
don't think
I'm
so.
surprised because you like sushi.
I do like sushi. I just never had crab meat before.
I think crab meat is one of the most exotic because you think about it, you got a crab walking near you, like that's the weirdest one. But if you were to take the tarantula meat out, of course, and it was cooked, I'd eat it. I don't care.
Well, what about a lobster? Have you had a lobster, but like you had to crack it open and stuff?
Yeah, I've eaten lobster.
I don't know how I'd feel. That's basically a sea spider. I don't want to eat that.
I don't mind it.
So you're gonna eat a little sea spider, but you can't drink milk?
Milk is disgusting. Milk is absolutely disgusting. It's like urine. It's cow urine. It's not good for you.
Oh shit. You're a very peculiar. You're a very interesting man, Steve. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, yeah. So the solar eclipse is interesting. We'll have to report back. We'll have to do a catch-up cast at the day of or the day after and see if anything fishy happened. We'll have to stay tuned for that. The other thing I think we wanted to cover was the Francis Scott Key Bridge that that was demolished by a large a cargo ship. I think when was it?
A Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, that was I remember just waking up and seeing that. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's pretty fucking nuts, man."
Yeah.
Now officials have come out to say that in the day or two after that there is no, no sign of that this was intentional and stuff, but further investigation, as usual, seems to it's very odd because if you look at how the boat kind of did like a I don't know if it kind of just turned. I've seen there are clips out there where they speed it up and it makes a turn toward one of the legs, the foundation of the bridge, which is very like why would that
Yeah.
happen? Um, Plus, I mean, there's tons of theories out there. You showed me one that where this movie that the Obamas produced, Leave the World Behind, had ironically had some sort of similar thing in its plot where a cargo ship, it goes astray and crashes and stuff. I don't know. That sort of, thing, if that's like predictive programming, I don't necessarily think I don't put too much weight into that one. I'll say that much. But I will say that, I just don't know. There's a lot of again, you're either a glass half empty or glass half full. I guess if we're saying that, I don't believe in the coincidences, is the glass half full? I don't know. That's that's the camp that I'm on. You know what I mean? I'm very skeptical in that sense, and I know you're a skeptic too, Steve. But
Um,
what's your take on it?
I tend to go to the experts when it comes to something like this. And I don't think that you can find a better expert than somebody who works on boats, ships, works in something like that. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a failure. It did seem to go in a wrong trajectory. What's up, Woods?
Very fast,
Um,
very fast. By what's going on, Wubs?
yeah.
Have you
And I
seen the
think,
video? Have you seen the video that speeds it up and
yeah,
it does like a turn? It does like a turn.
yeah, and I think one of the things that something that I saw someone say who works on, boats and ships and stuff like that was, there was no apparently when you're supposed to get into when you're going to get into an accident, you're supposed to like sound a horn for a crash alarm, and there was no crash alarm. There was no tugboats taking it out. That there was a lot of protocols that weren't followed, and because they weren't followed, it led some of the people who tend to work in that field, and it led them to believe that there was foul play. And again, I don't know if there was, I don't know if there wasn't. Um, and I think sometimes people jump, and I'm not jumping on this, but he had mentioned how it was like 2 or 3 days like after a Russian attack, and he was speculating. I'm not speculating. I'm just relaying all the information I have.
Yeah, yeah. Woob says I thought it lost power. If you look at the footage, like you'll see the lights are on at some point, and then they shut off, and then they come back on, and then they shut off. I think that was like I definitely had seen that, so
Yeah,
I think that's legit. I had heard another sort of thing that said that if you know what a black box is, like on planes, like how it basically just like I guess tracks. It's like constantly sending out a signal of what's going on, where it's at, that doesn't necessarily have to require, a person or an engineer or an operator to input that data. It just does it automatically. And how something about how the black box of the ship went dark mysteriously before the crash happened or whatever. So that's another thing to speculate about and say, hey, what went on there? Um, yeah, I'm very skeptical. And here's the thing that see, you say, you tend to trust the experts and stuff like that, and that's fair. For me specifically, I'm sort of the personality type to have a little bit of skepticism toward the experts themselves. That's me. That's sort of me. But that's the nice thing about me and Steve is that we have a good rapport and we have a yin and yang thing going on. You know what I mean?
And and the thing is that I think we do is that for us there is no right or wrong. There's only respect, right? I mean, I think whether it's absolutely hell yeah. It's just respect, right? Like you can have a different opinion, you can have that, but it's about approaching things with respect. And
Yeah.
we've never had this, but if one of us were to make the other person mad, we would just say like, hey, I felt this way about it, and we had that relationship where it would come together. But we don't have that here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And the
Yeah.
expert that I was choosing, not to be defensive, sorry, the expert that I was choosing was somebody who actually worked on the boats,
Mm.
not like an official or some type of representative, somebody who actually like worked on the actual um, boats, and somebody who actually, like a captain of a boat, and somebody who had to follow protocols and processes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I don't know that in a situation like this, I would blindly put my trust into a representative of the company
Mm.
who lost the power on the boat, whatever company it was. But just a really, really weird situation. I think last that I saw, it said that the the and I don't know how true this is, but that there was nobody injured, nobody was out, minimal people were on the bridge. I don't know if that's true, but you know,
Yeah, if you look at the footage again, like you'll see a couple cars go past before it makes contact with the front, the leg or whatever, the base of it, and you don't see any cars like going past as it's going down. Now, I mean, I don't. I think the official, yeah, like we were saying before. I think uh, they didn't specify if there was a number. I mean, I'm sure it would, if there was people that, were down there, it would take, time in
yeah,
order to, get them out and stuff. So there isn't anything sort of officially with, if there's, a death toll or anything like that. But, um, yeah, yeah, it's sad that it happened, obviously, but, you know, um, uh, just but the whole circumstances surrounding it, I'm sure, as time goes on and the story develops and more stuff comes out, there'll be more sort of ways to kind of look at it from a different perspective and kind of seeing like what really happened, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
I think the one thing I that's interesting, and I don't want to create, not that we will, but
What?
um, is that how people are making the similarities between the movie that the Obamas put out and the connections there. And again, I don't think I think that's very far-fetched. While it is
Have
possible, I like
you
to
seen
think
that
that
movie?
yeah, it was pretty good. Have you?
Okay. I haven't actually.
So so apparently, and again, I'm just relaying, I don't know the validity of it, but I'm relaying a popular theory that the boat from the movie was called like White Lion.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the boat or the ship, whatever the hell it is, the ship that crashed into the bridge was headed to Sri Lanka. And again, I don't know that this is true. I don't know that it was headed to Sri Lanka. I don't know if that person who put it was knew it was headed to Sri Lanka. But Sri Lanka, and again, I don't know that this is what it really means. I'm just relaying a message, and perhaps this is not a good thing. But apparently, Sri Lanka means white lion, or has something to do with lion, right? Actually, let me Google it so
No
I know my
shit,
facts.
that's crazy.
Uh,
Sri Lanka.
so, but yeah, it has. Okay, Okay, so this is what it is, and I missaid it. So, the boat from Leave the World Behind was White Lion. And
Yeah.
then it was heading to Sri Lanka, and their flag is the lion flag, and they're saying that that's
Oh.
that's kind of like the similarity. So I don't know that it was headed to Sri Lanka. I don't know where it was going. I don't know any of that. The part of Sri Lanka meaning lion flag, according to a quick Google search, does make sense. Um, so kind of interesting.
Very interesting. Again, it's a sort of thing, coincidence, or is there a certain layer of hiding in plain sight that's going on? What I think about when it comes to that sort of thing, where it's like something that's hiding in plain sight and not necessarily a coincidence, as I think about what benefit would the people in power and the people that are behind the scenes that pretty much run the world, that that are in the know, we're talking about like world leaders, billionaires, stuff like that. What benefit in this specific case, the Obamas, what benefit would they have to do that, to predictively program, say, and put like these little subversive subliminal things? Like, is it just like to uh, in I guess in the best case scenario, it's like they trying to warn of something, to say, to be able to prepare yourself or something like that. Or in the worst case scenario, they know what's going on, they know what will happen, and this is some like sort of sick, sadistic sort of like, play on, on visuals and stuff like that. I don't know. It's interesting to think about, and
I,
I don't have the answer. Like, I can't think of a good answer, as to why, they would do that.
yeah, I like the Obamas. I really like Barack. I saw him once at Five Guys. His favorite, he loves cheeseburgers, and his favorite cheeseburger is a Five Guys cheeseburger. And I knew that, and I remember being in college, and I went to the Oak Park because he used to go there a
Uh,
lot.
uh,
He would go to the Oak Park Five Guys, and I remember sitting there waiting, and like no one can go in, and sure enough, Barack Obama runs out, and everyone's going crazy, and he just
yeah.
gets into his vehicle with his Five Guys burger and drives off, and is pretty cool. Um,
Isn't Five Guys like to get a combo meal? Isn't it like $20
back
now?
back then it wasn't.
Nah, but now, when's the
Now it
last
is,
time you've
yeah.
been to Five Guys?
Yeah.
That's fucking
Maybe that's why he's putting out the
nuts.
movies. But what I want to say about the Obamas is I would like to think that if you're in a position of power, that instead of creating movies for awareness, that we're investing into the infrastructure so then that way things like that don't happen. It's one thing to identify a problem, it's another thing to actually solve the problem.
True, true. Yeah, it's yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of ways you could take it. There's a lot of ways you could take it and kind of analyze it, but I don't know. I can't I can't one you try to think what you would do in that position of power and fame and riches, like how you would act and
Yeah.
how you would go about like knowing things that not that that the masses don't know. You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot to bear. It's like the saying goes, and it's talking about greatness, not necessarily in a morally righteous way, but it's just talking about the weight of something. It's like some men are born great, some men achieve greatness, some men have greatness thrust upon them, and it's more or less just like a greatness that's just like information. Like, can you imagine if you were the president and like the day you're in there, it's like, look, there's aliens are real, okay? Like, we have one in the mess hall. Okay, you want to go see it? Okay, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
you just think about it like that, Uh, it's crazy, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't I'm looking because I'm trying to find that tweet that that guy did about the where it's headed to Sri Lanka, and the more I look into Sri Lankan, I think that's the right thing to say. The more I look into Sri Lankan tweets, the more I'm
Mm.
like, whoa, like they got their lion dominating everyone, and they're like burning stuff. Like,
Yeah, I wonder what Sri Lanka. Last time I heard about Sri Lanka was that they overthrew the government over there, and it was
yeah, it's
pretty
kind
much a
of
free for all.
aggressive.
So I don't know how you can conduct business in a country like that where it's falling
On
apart. It seems.
on first glance, it seems a little. I mean, at least from what I'm seeing, it seems a little aggressive. I don't know about all this.
Yeah, don't go to Sri Lanka anytime soon. Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. I'm sure it's gonna get even crazier as we go further into the year, man. You know?
Yeah. But isn't that what's supposed to happen? Isn't it supposed to be like crazy things happen? You know what I mean? Like,
I think
I
it's
don't
like,
know.
I mean, it's part of it is just the world existing and humans existing and just things that are out of our control. But a
Oh,
certain
here it is.
aspect,
Here
uh-huh,
it is. I found it. Uh, Jimmy Corsetti, and again, I don't know anything about
that sounds so
this.
familiar.
Jimmy Corsetti. Oh my God, this can't be a coincidence. The ship that crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore was headed to Sri Lanka. The flag of Sri Lanka is a lion. The ship in the opening scene of Barack Obama's Leave the World Behind is named the White Lion. So I guess that's the whole thing, is that, I guess I gave the entire story,
Yeah.
but that connection. And they're talking about how in the movie, the importance of that White Lion ship in the movie is that it lost power too, and then it like came all the way up to shore, and then what happened in the rest of the movie was, I think they indirectly said that it was uh, an attack on our IT. So like Teslas were losing control and like crashing into each other, and people just lost connection, and essentially what happened is like everyone needed to reconnect with each other and in the world and in the earth. um but again, I don't know, like, if there was a cyber attack, is that the worst thing in the world? I don't know. We've
Depends
already
on what
survived a lot of them, right?
depends on what they get a hold of, like with the cyber attack, um, like
I
if it has something to do with our food supply, yeah, I'd say that could be
Yeah,
pretty bad.
yeah, but like if
Or
they
water,
but
pretty
if
much the same thing.
everyone's public information came out there, and it was just like, well, Steve, you buy a lot of Doritos. It's like, so it's not as bad as what P. Diddy's doing, you know?
Yeah, a lot of that is really at the end of the day kind of more or less to try to sell you things and try to
Yeah,
market to you.
yeah,
So I guess in that sense, not to necessarily say that, they should be doing it or whatever, but it's as to what actual harm it could bring throughout, a regular everyday to day is it's minimal
yeah,
if any, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, to the people that are watching this, what do you think? Okay. What is your take? Do you think it was a coincidence that it was all by chance and a freak accident, or do you think there was something more behind that ship crashing into the bridge? Um, yeah, we want to know what you have to say and what you think. Um, any any final thoughts on the ship, Steve?
Nah.
Any
You?
final thoughts in general?
Um, I would just close off. Are we getting ready to close?
Uh, in a few minutes, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say. Unless you have something else you want to talk
No,
about.
I would say, let's try not to be so mean to each other, and I don't
What are we
think
being mean to each other?
I mean, like, I just think that, we're all arguing with each other and like, and I'm oversimplifying because I think it's something I don't really want to talk about, but like just everything that people do mean stuff to each other
Yeah.
and like I feel like the world is losing a certain amount of intention and respect for each other and it's just like, can we go back to that? You know?
Hmm.
Can
Yeah.
we like be more intentional with each other? I think that yes, I do think that there's a certain level of transparency that we don't need from each other, but like we don't have to be so mean to each other. We don't have to break each other down and get over like let's stop trying to get over on each other, you know?
Are you talking
I don't
about
know.
more specifically like on the internet?
Just in general, like everything that happened, everything that like whether he did it or didn't, like everything that P. Diddy did, and whether like I think the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, that has somewhat indirectly kind of they're somewhat kind of connected, you know, and
What if you you know you, you know I didn't think about this whole time. Uh, P Diddy might be you know at some
no,
point in the future,
no,
dude.
no. I thought when you did this, I thought you were saying like connected with the Jeffrey
No,
Epstein stuff.
no, Steve. I mean, depending on the amount of connections that he has.
I don't know, dude. I watched that.
Well,
Dude,
listen. Hey, the fact of the matter is, he, assuming that all this stuff is true that he did, fuck him. But so if it happens to him, he had it coming to him.
I,
Yeah, I'm good.
I
Yeah,
don't know about that. I don't
I
know
don't
about
care if
that.
it's controversial. You know what I'm
Ah,
saying? Like, hey, when the FBI gets involved and stuff, I mean, what are you doing?
I want nothing to do with anything about anyone being harmed. I just said what's interesting about you and I
I'm
is
just
I just
saying
said,
he
can we
might. He might. I don't know.
what
I'm just saying,
I just what I just said is, can we just be nice to each other? And then you said check raise. You said check raise. And I was just like, I'm sitting here like, I just said,
Let
let's
me ask
be
you
nice to
this.
each other.
Let
If
me
you
ask you
did,
this.
if you did half of what you did, you didn't have to do that. Talent should win out. Go ahead. What are you going to ask me?
Do you believe that Epstein unalived himself?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's gone already, Steve. It doesn't matter. He's gone.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
If
I
you were,
wasn't there.
if you were,
I wasn't there.
if you were to say one or the other, which one would you pick? If you're to
If I had to
lean in one
guess,
side or another, yeah. If you had to make a guess as to which was the more, which what actually happened, what would you say? The fans want to know. Clean Nation wants to know.
I don't know, dude. I
Come
don't know if I
on.
want to touch that one. I'm not touching that one. Dude, I don't know.
These are the questions that the world wants to know for Clean Nation.
Dude, I don't know. I just finished like I've known who he was and I've heard of the accusations, but I never
Yeah.
went deep into it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I live somewhat of a secluded life and I'm not curious about stuff like that. And I saw that documentary and um it's a little weird that 2 days before that happened, he signed over all his finances, and a lot of money went to a couple of people that was out of nowhere. That is weird.
It's,
I will
I'm
admit.
pretty sure I also heard his cellmate heard screaming around the time soon before it came out, what that he was not on this planet, uh, and how there was no video feed, or if there was, it got cut out whenever it did happen. I don't know. That's there's more like the Transformers, right? There's more than meets the eye.
I
Robots in the
don't
sky.
know that. That's a hard segue. That's a really hard segue. I don't know. I don't know, dude. It it's weird. It's a really weird circumstance. It's a really like the transaction is weird. You know.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
know, they
I
can
don't know about that one.
they can make shower thoughts. You can get an infinite amount of shower thoughts from that whole scenario.
The thing is, dude, like I feel like there's so many details before you can definitively say yes he did or yes he didn't.
uh,
That there's so many and the reason why I don't answer is because like I don't have all those details.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I know that, based on the interviews that I've seen of him, I know that he was very smug and arrogant,
yeah.
and I don't know that it fit his personality to do it. He didn't seem like the type of person to do that. But again, when you're in prison and you're going through things, you never know what somebody can do. You never know what somebody's capable of. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It does, from what I've seen, it doesn't fit his personality, but because he was, and again, I don't know if being convicted and having everything overturned on him changed him, but it's weird. It is weird. It's weird timing, but because a lot of people were saying that he didn't, and I know that we kind of came to this one roundaboutly, but a lot of
Shout out real quick to Benjamin Newman who stopped in, and shout out to my nephew Jacob who's watching. What's going on, guys? All
a
right,
lot of
continue.
a lot of people said that he didn't show any remorse for what he did, and
Uh,
people were hurt because of what he did.
yeah.
So to not show remorse because of that, and then to do that, it's kind of a weird. It's odd. It is odd. But did he do it or did he not do it? I don't know. I wasn't there.
Maybe we should ask maybe we should ask my nephew what he thinks. No,
Oh,
no,
I
maybe
don't
we
want to
should.
do that. I don't want to do that.
Maybe we should ask him a more lighthearted question, not Epstein related at all.
Yeah, that's fine.
uh, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, it's interesting. Me and Steve have a very good, very good rapport. We have a very, very yin and yang energy and flow to us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think that's, we've, I personally have gotten a lot of compliments about, how well, we play off of each other and stuff. And the thing with all these theories and conspiracy theories, it's interesting to speculate, because a lot of these things don't do will never like we won't necessarily be on the other end of some of these occurrences. You know what I mean? These
I
are
hope
things that
not.
play. These things, a lot of these things. I mean, with regarding Epstein and stuff like that, like this happens like on a whole other echelon of people of power and money and riches and stuff like that. So some of the ramifications of that, like we'll never really necessarily get wind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like that's why it's interesting just to speculate and just to kind of like think, kind of like when we go on ghost hunting, you know what I mean? There's a story, potentially whenever location we're at. So it's like, what's the story? Let's speculate. What are some of these spirits here? Are they people um, that befell tragedy in this certain area, and like they're their energy is trapped there.
Yeah.
It's just speculation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's um it's storytelling. It's storytelling. It's a tradition that mankind has utilized to its benefit for since time immemorial. You like that phrase? Time immemorial.
I don't know what memorial means.
Look it up. Look
I'm
it up.
gonna.
Time immemorial. Oh, what's going on, guys?
Who?
Welcome, welcome.
First of all, I spelled it wrong, and it said memoriam is no. Actually, did I spell? No, I spelled it wrong. No, yeah, I
Come
spelled it wrong.
on, Steve. What are you doing?
I put a U where there should be an A. Okay, time of memory. I imagine that's what it was, but I didn't want to be presumptuous. Um, yeah, who said that we play off each other very well? I'm so
I think
happy
my mom
my
said
face
that.
doesn't look like this.
I know my mom told me something along those lines. A I think it's a lot of family members, I'd say,
Yeah,
have said that, we play off each other very well.
and we look out for each other too. We just don't do the show. We're like, oh, like we actually look out for each other.
Yeah, true, true. I mean, there have been times before where, one of, like, you had plans or something came up and we had to, like, kind of, like when we did the Christmas episode and then
Yeah,
we had Woobs on there. Shout out to Woobs. We'll probably have to get him on the next podcast.
yeah.
Talk to him a little bit.
I
Got a
haven't
little
talked
bit,
to him
a
in
little
a while.
been radio silent on Woobs. We gotta figure out what's going on in Woobs world. And we got scheduled the seventh Sweats v Woobs 7 of food eating contest.
I, I just been radio silent this year because of just stuff I've been going
Yeah.
through. So I just really haven't talked to anyone, dude. So I'm I'm barely coming out of my shell. I haven't talked to anyone since like December. It was a tough couple of months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the beginning of the year is usually like that.
Yeah.
I,
But
I
now I'm
want
fucking ready.
hell yeah. So what do you guys think? You guys who are watching, what do you think of the name of these podcasts, these we're gonna call it the Catch Up Cast. The Sweats and Steve Show Catch Up Cast. Is this the second one that we've done?
Yeah,
Or
this
the
is the
third
second one.
one?
I think it's the second.
Okay.
I think I used
So
to come on here when I would come home from work and then just kind of look at the camera.
yeah, and then like when you hit the bag
Yeah.
and stuff, I know you do that and stuff.
I should
What
do
do
it.
you?
I should do that for this one. I haven't hit the bag all fucking year. I'm not fighting in the Golden Gloves.
Damn it! I was looking forward to it.
I'm I kind of committed to next year just because
Okay,
of
yeah, good.
just because of stuff that's going just because it's just stuff that was going on in my life.
Yeah,
I was just like, no, I can't do it this year. And then I was just like, you know what? I can do it next year. And I already
I'm looking
talked to
forward
Fiona
to
about
that.
it. I talked to Lee about it, believe it or not.
He's gonna train you.
He's interested. He wants me to fight.
Oh, that's awesome,
Dude, he
man.
got in a fight yesterday.
Really? What happened?
Yeah. I don't know, man. This kid, good kid, smart kid. Um,
Dude, I'm invested in this. What happened?
I take him to a lot of different places, right?
Yeah.
And I take him to a lot of different camps. And yesterday I took him to, I'm sorry, on Tuesday I took him to a sports camp.
Yeah.
And he's a rule follower. And he doesn't like when other kids don't listen to the rules. So we have a good relationship with one of the coaches at this camp. He's his football coach right now,
hmm
and the kid wasn't listening, so he put his hands on the kid and said, "Hey, you gotta listen." I separate him, whatever. He does that a lot. So then what happened yesterday was I took him to this place, and it was like a combo. It was a combo place. It was like they get to play and rock climb
Uh-huh.
and do like ninja courses,
Uh-huh.
and then they'll take them and they'll do STEM activities with them.
Uh-huh.
I thought, oh my God, I love this. I love because he does. I can never find anything where it's activity STEM, lunch. That's what I was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
because that's, I think, what kids need. So I pull up early. It's a new place. I wasn't happy with it, but I still let him do it. So he's there for 4.5 hours. I'm in Naperville yesterday, right?
Okay.
Fiona's with me. She's, doing her thing. And, I said, let's just go in. It's about 11:15, 11:30. I see a lot of people going in. I get nervous because the one thing I check is the safety and security of the area, and I'm thinking there's just a whole bunch of teenagers working here, and I don't know who's watching him. I don't have relationships with anyone here like I do in other camps. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like if I put him in a camp, it's because I know one of the coaches there, or I know people who work there, or if we've been there for a while, and I know that it's safe. You know what I mean? Um, well, what happens is I go in early and I'm standing there, I'm watching him. He doesn't know I'm watching him. I'm standing
Mm-hmm.
there, I'm watching him. I'm enjoying watching him climb the monkey bars, climb up stuff, run across. And then out of nowhere, I see him have this face. And I know that face because I have that face. And I see him have this face, and I see him turn around, and he just winds up, and boom, boom,
Ooh,
boom.
yeah. 3 shots?
And then some kid like jumps on him, and then he like grabs the kid and turns him over.
Yeah, he's a scrapper.
And then the kid like gets up and he kicks Lee, and then Lee
Oh,
like pushed him down and kicked him.
damn.
And
Are you seeing this in slow motion?
no, I'm seeing it live.
Okay.
And I'm pissed because I'm like, you don't come here for that. You don't come here for that. You come here because you need to run around, climb stuff, do your STEM activities, and make friends. You don't come here to fight.
So
You
what
know what I mean?
happened next?
So what happens is I yelled at him, Lee, stop, come over here. He comes over. I said, what the hell happened? And he goes, excuse me. He goes, that kid kicked me earlier, and then he touched me again, and I got mad. And I was like, dude, no. That's why you do karate. That's why I train you with boxing. That's why you're in football. You want to take that energy out, you do it then. And like he's the sweetest kid. You wouldn't fucking think that he would do that. You know what I mean? You know him.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think this kid has it in him, but he has it in him. And I need him to keep it in him, not fucking because he's not like that's not what I said. Like I don't put him in stuff so he can go there and fight. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
yeah, I don't think any parent would want that to happen.
yeah.
Um, but what happened to the other kid?
Um,
Was he crying?
nothing. He just went about his day, you know.
Oh, okay. But was the other parent of the other kid there too?
No, she was off in like the lounge area. It was a really nice setup, and I was so into it. And then you get there, you're like, what the fuck? It was
Yeah.
very much like that Willy Wonka thing, dude. Only nicer, you know. They made it out to be
Wow.
something it wasn't.
Yeah.
So, but
Wow. Very.
again, it was a suburb thing, dude. Like,
Yeah.
not to be that snobby city person, but it's just it was just anybody can walk in. You don't know who the fuck's around your kid. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like maybe because it was the suburbs, it was fine. And
Yeah.
I live on the north side. I don't need to worry about any of that. But it's still like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That was a good story time.
Thanks.
That was a good story time. I like that. All right. Well, uh, I'll pose a couple questions, and maybe if you're in the comments of this video later on, I'll probably upload this to YouTube because I feel like we have some good content
Yeah,
here
I like it.
that the fans might not otherwise see. What are you doing during the solar eclipse on April 8th? What are you doing about cicadas? Uh, what are your thoughts about P. Diddy and the allegations and the controversy? And what do you think about the Francis Scott Key bridge collapse, and the cargo ship that was responsible for that? Do you think there's something behind it? Was it coincidence, just pure accident, or something more nefarious? Let us know what you think in the comments later. Um, I've had really fun on the catch up cast number 2. And yeah, once I think after the solar eclipse, maybe we should do another one and kind of talk about if anything weird happened after that. And who knows, there'll probably be a whole other news to cover
Yeah.
uh, at that point for sure. Any final thoughts, Steve?
Um, no, I enjoyed this. I agree. I think we should do the big podcast once a month, and then I think
Yeah.
we should do the little catch-up casts, once a week maybe, just to kind of
Yeah.
check in and
Yeah.
stay relevant. People
Yeah.
forget about people. What's funny about us is like people come and they love us for a bit, and then one of us, either you or I, will be like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me because it's just like the other person's like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
I'll
It's
see.
just
Well, when you feel better, let me know. And I think
yeah.
that really works for us because like we just do this shit for, at least me, I do this shit for fun. I think it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun for me too. It's a nice kind of to break up the content like between my music and
Yeah.
stuff, and I haven't really gamed as much at all, but
Yeah,
it's
but
nice
there
to
was
break it
that
up and stuff.
there was a little while, I'm sorry to cut you off, where it's like we were really getting pretty popular and then we were like, eh.
Well, it was when we were doing it like I think we were doing it every week. We were doing the podcast like every
I
week.
feel like it was around 2022, 2023, in that time frame when it was just like we're both like, no, we don't want to do it anymore.
Well, then you were going back to school.
Yeah.
You were going back to school, so you wanted to take a break from it.
Yeah, and then you were, you were doing your thing too, and we just might not have been that one, but there was this one time where we just didn't talk about it for a while, if
Yeah.
you remember that.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah,
just
yeah,
were
I
like, okay,
remember.
we'll see you, and then it was just like we both were kind of like, yeah, we'll come back to it when we want. And I love that. I love
Yeah.
that if we go away, we will come back,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
at some point.
I think because too I wanted to like put more of a focus on the music because I think at
Yeah.
that time I was putting out a couple singles here and there, but I really wasn't as like into it and as I kind of wanted to be. So I like how the schedule is now. I like the once a
Yeah.
month, and whenever there's news to talk about with the catch up cast, and then when I'm not doing that, working on music and stuff, and then I like to bring gaming back more, but I think like probably have to wait on that till I actually finish the album, or at least have a good like handful of songs that are like ready, and I could push them out the door, but. Yeah, I like everything. I like all the things we do for
Yeah.
sure.
I think I want to get when next time you do like a rap song, I want to
Yeah.
get on the song.
Yeah.
I want to put out the hottest verse ever and never do it again. You know
Okay.
what I
Start
mean?
start writing it. Start
Well, I
getting
don't
some
know
beats together.
what the song's gonna be about, but I want to do the hottest fucking verse ever and walk away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Tout it as the
I'd like to hear
greatest
this.
verse ever. One hit wonder, and I totally embrace it. Hell yeah, it was one hit wonder. I'm not like I wouldn't be, and dude, if I was a one hit wonder, I wouldn't be like these other one hit wonders that like don't fucking let it go. It'd be like, no, that was it. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to make one good song, and I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. I'd like to see that in the future. But I think this will end the catch up cast here. We'll be back soon. What date did we say for the other main podcast?
I think it was
Eight,
April 27th, somewhere around
yeah,
there.
April
20.
27th. I'll have to put out a little promotion piece for it. But yeah, this has been the catch up cast number 2. Uh, thank you everyone for watching. Jacob, Benjamin, Woods, I can't see who else, but thank you for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, bye guys.
Bye.